Sí, full arriba. I need help.
Voy.
Welcome to everyone to Volkssturm Gaming. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video once again. And today we're going to be breaking down the Volkssturmgewehr in our Recoil breakdown episode 13. Now, we're going to be referring to the Volkssturmgewehr as the Volk because of very obvious reasons. Now, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this weapon. Now, this weapon has been part of the loot pool for quite a while actually, and it is currently to this day, the day of the posting of this video, still part of the ground loot. And strange enough is that not many, if any, people are really using this weapon as a long-range assault rifle. And the reason for that is actually similar to the reason why not many people use the AS-44 as a long-range assault rifle, and that's because the recoil pattern or the recoil nature of these weapons is a little bit tricky, both in the visual aspect of it as well as the inner makings, have it be sort of random side-to-side bounces in it. And because of these reasons, it's a little bit more tricky to make viable long-range builds for these two weapons really, and especially for the Volkssturmgewehr. With the changes that happened with the muzzles recently for Season 2, the AS-44 actually, we were able to get a long-range build for that weapon, which you can click on the video up here to go ahead and get access to that. And the Volkssturmgewehr was a weapon that we had already started testing prior to Season 2, and there was just no way to get a viable version of this weapon. But today we've been able to test a lot of different setups and actually find a viable long-range setup for the Volkssturmgewehr. And we're going to talk about a little bit of some key combinations you can do if you would like to control a little bit more of the recoil of the vertical part of it, or if you want to get less of what is sort of that initial kick that also makes the Volkssturmgewehr a little bit trickier at longer ranges. So we're going to talk about those two builds today. And as we move into the testing, you can go ahead and take advantage of the timestamps down below if you want to move to any specific portion of the video. If you do appreciate and find value in those timestamps, let me know in the comment section down below, or just like the video, I would truly appreciate to know that you find value in this. So as we're talking about the testing here, there really wasn't much to notice. There wasn't really anything particularly that would stand out when the testing was done. The recoil patterns overall were pretty much, they look very easy, right? The weapon kicks up and to the left, and if you look at the recoil pattern just at face value, it looks like a very easy pattern to control. However, the issue with the Volkssturmgewehr or the Volk is that you're getting this side-to-side bounce within the pattern itself that makes long-range accuracy a little more challenging. And I think that this is where sort of the skill gap with this weapon comes into play. And the issue with it is that the weapon doesn't feel like it hits too hard for those or for you to invest time into the weapon for you to actually get good at using it. And so that's probably as well a reason why people don't tend to use this for longer range. However, I was really passionate about finding a strong build for this weapon, and again, I'm very confident with the build that we've been able to find it now, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about that here. But these were my initial thoughts as I was testing the Volk. So let's move right into the best long-range build. So the best Volk build is this one you're looking at right here. This is pretty much the skeleton we're going to be working with, and we're going to be breaking down each attachment. Now, the MX silencer is going to give us overall recoil control, and it does affect our aim down sight speed. However, the Volk is already pretty quick in that department, so this really does not pose any issue with this weapon. The Krosnick 428mm 05V barrel is actually the only barrel that gives us extra control, and it actually gives us some extra damage range, which is always nice to see as well. Now, we're running the lengthened ammunition type to give us that extra 10% bullet velocity. Perfectionist as a perk just to maximize on the recoil control. It does state that it affects your flinch resistance, but to be honest, I don't think the flinch resistance is something that's currently working. I think I've seen a lot of different videos that talk about the fact that it's either inconsistent or non-existent. So Perfectionist is perfect in this case no pun intended. Now, fully loaded is going to be perk 2 just to get maximum ammunition here. Now, let's go ahead and break down each of the missing attachments. For the underbarrel, any of the recoil controlling attachments are actually good. The Carver foregrip, the bipod, or the M1941 hand stop. However, for a consistent use, the Carver foregrip proves to be the best one because the Volk has great movement overall. So you'll be able to strafe back and forth when you're in gunfights. And the Carver foregrip affects your aim down sight, which we talked about already. The Volk already has fantastic aim down sight speed. So the Carver foregrip just gives consistent standing up recoil control because the bipod of course gives you best recoil control when you're crouched or prone. But the Carver foregrip is pretty much the all-rounder no-brainer in this case. So we're going to be running the Carver foregrip specifically. Now, for the magazine type, you can run the 7.62 Gorenko if you want pretty much maximum control. However, the weapon doesn't feel like it hits too hard, and with the 7.62 Gorenko mags, you're already losing on some extra damage. So we focused the build for today around the 8mm Kurz 60 round drums, and this is the one we're going to be running today. So keep that in mind. Now, as we move into the optic section, now normally in these videos, we talk about, choose whatever optic feels best for you, but you can still choose whatever optic you find best. However, through the testing, I actually discovered that there are some sights that simply work best with the Volk and some sights that seem to be bugged or just don't work at all, or maybe I'm just trash at the game. But you can discover this yourselves if you give this a try, and let me know in the comment section below if it is the case. However, the best sights for the Volk are the G16 2.5x, its additional brother in a way, the M38 Slate 2.5x Custom, and if you want some extra zoom with pretty much the same visual look of the sights, you can run the 1229 Slate 3.25x. These three sights are fantastic with the Volk, and they seem to really come together well with the whole build. Now, we went ahead and tried the 3 to 6x SVT 40 PU sight, as well as the 4 to 8 variable 1913 sight, and there seems to be some sort of disconnect with the sight and the barrel, and I don't know if it's because of the visual recoil or because of the pattern or its nature overall, but I just couldn't find a consistent way to use these sights with this long range build. So keep that in mind, that these sights, although for many weapons are fantastic, for the Volk it just does not seem to be the case. And specifically for the G16 and for all these sights that I recommended, I'm running the Crosshair Dot because it's just the cleanest one and gives you the best sight. But that's more into the nitty gritty of it. However, we're missing the stock and the rear grip. Now these come together very nicely. Initially, we have tested the Krosnik S12V PS and the Raisdorf 22V. Now, because of the recoil pattern of the Volk, that from the first to the second bullet, it kicks very strong, I went ahead and doubled down on the initial firing recoil benefit of the Raisdorf, and then on the stippled grip, which gives us initial firing recoil as well. But into the further testing of the weapon, I went ahead and changed the Raisdorf for the Krosnik S12V to get the maximum recoil control, and I left the stippled as such, and it actually causes the best recoil control because the stippled grip tape is doing the very most on the initial fire and recoil control, and then the Krosnik is reducing the overall pattern. So this combination is the best one to run by far, although as you can see from the patterns, the Raisdorf doesn't really change things up that much, but the initial fire and recoil is important to really keep in mind. Now, why am I reinstating this is because a lot of people tend to talk about the polymer as the best grip, but for this weapon specifically, as you can see right here, the polymer does not mitigate the initial kick of the weapon. So it's either always sacrifice 1 or 2 bullets when you're trying to kill someone, or have the best consistent recoil pattern with a stippled grip. So once again, this right here is the best combination by far that you're going to be able to run with a Volk. And with that, we have covered the best long-range Volk build. And there you have it, the best long-range Volkssturmgewehr build. Now, I thank you so much if you did reach this point of the video, because and I'm sorry that the breaking down of the weapon actually took so long. I think this has been the longest explanation I've given to a single weapon build. And the reason is because the Volkssturmgewehr it doesn't have as much variety in each attachment. and it has a rather tricky recoil pattern. So combining things properly to be able to make the best long range build was actually a pretty challenging task, and I'm very pleased with the results that I got from the build that I was able to share with you today. And I thank you truly if you stuck around to the whole explanation. You are truly the best if you stuck around to my breaking down of every single attachment there. But I hope that you try this build if you are a fan of the Volk, and you let me know in the comment section down below. I would truly love and appreciate to read from you all. But I have nothing else to share with you today. I thank you so much if you did reach this point of the video, and thank you for sticking around. If you do want to watch all the regulars for Sauce Time Gaming, click on that subscribe button down below. Like the video if you did. Share it with a friend if they want to find the best recoil builds for the Vanguard weapons. I do have a playlist that you can click on at the end of this video if you want to see more of these weapon builds. We still got a couple more to go, the NZ41, and I think we're done after that, but we'll have to check. If you do have any request of a weapon you would like to have broken down, let me know in the comment section down below as well. But without further ado, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and through it all, I hope you always remember: Sauce Time Gaming. What a game!